everybody, welcome back to the Teach Back Method, where I teach you guys something I'm learning about in grad school to help me understand the concept better. For today's video, we're going to be discussing memory failure. So there are two main things that can affect our memory, amnesia and dementia. Let's break it down. Let's first talk about amnesia. Amnesia is a type of memory loss that can occur as a result of a disease or an injury, such as a TBI, traumatic brain injury. And it impacts our declarative memory, which we'll get into here in a second. So there are actually two types of amnesia, retrograde and anterograde. I'm sure from movies or in previous classes you might have heard of retrograde amnesia at the very least. So retrograde amnesia is when memories from prior to the injury or accident are intact. So you remember things such as your childhood, your previous job, your marriage, etc., things up until your accident. Anterograde is the opposite, so you have no previous memory prior to your accident or injury, but you have no issue remembering current things that are happening. So let's do a little bit of review. If you have any questions about long-term memory, go check out my previous videos. So there are two types of long-term memory, implicit and explicit. Implicit memory is our unconscious memory or non-declarative, and explicit memory is our conscious or declarative. So this is actually the section that is going to be impacted by amnesia. So we're going to see here that our semantic and episodic memory is impacted. So just a little recap, semantic memory is memory of facts or concepts, and episodic memory is more so events or experiences. So these are the things that are impacted by amnesia. So everything over here appears to be intact. So the biggest thing is our procedural memory is intact. So our functional skills that we don't have to think about. So how to walk, how to brush our teeth, how to drive, things like that typically are not impacted by amnesia. Something else that severely impacts memory is something called dementia. So dementia is an umbrella term, and the most common type of dementia is Alzheimer's disease, which I'm sure you've heard of. So Alzheimer's disease is a progressive disorder that continues to get worse as the patient lives longer. Alzheimer's disease is characterized by cortical atrophy and neuron loss, and it spreads across the entire brain. So let's talk about where it starts and where it goes. So it typically starts in the entorhinal and hippocampal areas. So the first things that are impacted is actually our declarative memory. And if you are not familiar with this chart, please go back to my page and watch my other videos on short-term memory, long-term memory, etc., because it really gives a breakdown of each of these areas. So, as I stated, declarative memory is typically impacted first, so that is our conscious memory of facts and events, experiences, things like that. As Alzheimer's disease progresses to other areas of the brain, more areas of memory are impacted. So the next thing that typically goes is our procedural memory. And remember, procedural memory is how to do things, such as brushing our teeth, eating, etc. And then once the disease finally progresses to the frontal lobe, that's when our short-term memory gets affected. So we lose our working memory, so things that are currently happening, the current task at hand. I hope this video really clears up the types of things that impact our memory, dementia and amnesia. Go back to my page for more learning opportunities. Thanks.